consumer alerts and recalls first on News Channel 5.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone. Money always seems to be the focus as we wrap up the holiday season and head into the new year. Jay Seaton is here. He's Vice President for National Affairs at Consumer Credit Counseling Service, a prize in financial advocates. He's here to share tips to manage your budget as we start the new year. And then we will hear later on from Dr. Karen Cooper of Cleveland Clinic. She'll talk about some of the reasons we've seen childhood obesity triple over the past 30 years or so. And later in the broadcast after that, Dr. Elaine Richardson will share her story of overcoming drug addiction and prostitution to become a university professor, an author, and a singer. Quite a story, I guarantee. Good morning again. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. My name is Leon Bibb. Good to have you with us. And here is Jay Seaton, Vice President for National Affairs for Consumer Credit Counseling Service, a prize in financial advocates. Good to see you, Jay.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, always good to have you here. Here we are in the holiday season. That means people are out spending, and that's in your area of the world. You always tell them about credit counseling. What should we be wary of?
You know, one of the things that fascinates me about the holiday season is the last person you give a gift to is yourself. And the thing that you should really be thinking in terms of money, bills, debt, credit, and all the rest of it is give yourself a gift. And the way to do that is create a budget. Do some planning for next year.
Some people I talked to, and I heard this not too long ago, I heard somebody on the street saying, I was just kind of in earshot of what they were saying. They hadn't finished paying off last Christmas, and they were going in debt with this Christmas.
You and I talk about it. It's the ghost of Christmas past. That's not providing yourself with a gift. Think about this. I tell folks all the time, I'm going to go back, I'm a broken record on this one. Do some planning, give yourself a gift. Put yourself, do something to get on a budget, no matter where you are economically.
But somebody out there is saying, but Jay, I got this credit card here, and this credit card will let me kind of pay on installments. What do you tell them?
Think about this. Does that jump out of your purse or out of your wallet? We have to do something with it. It's convenient. It's useful. I'm not opposed to it. I have credit cards. It's just I understand the convenience can have a price if you're paying for last Christmas, this Christmas. You don't want to do that.
I don't know if I try to do it right. When I get the bill for the credit card, I pay it off that month.
It's surprising and amazing and positive to me that more and more people are talking about that. I probably reach a couple thousand or more people in workshops that I do all over the community that you and I have talked about before. And I've had more and more people tell me, I have credit cards, but I do everything I can to pay them off every month.
Well, you have brought the tablets down from Mount Sinai, and somebody out there is saying, okay, I get it. I know these are the new rules, but what do I do, Jay? They say, I'm in trouble. Where can I get help?
That's the other thing that always surprises me is folks will say, during the holiday season, I don't want to think about this. Yes, I may have to deal with Christmas's past right now, but I don't want to think about it until the holidays are over. Now is the time if you're struggling. If you're struggling, for instance, to pay just the minimum on your credit card bills, you could be a candidate for free counseling at Consumer Credit Counseling Service. That's what we do. That's our mission as a nonprofit.
How do you make that work? Where do they begin? They begin with a phone call.
They begin with a phone call, and it's an 800 number. It's an easy one. It's 1-800-355-CCCS. Or 2227. And then we have 5 offices in Greater Cleveland. It's 90 minutes. It's with somebody who's certified, who's been doing this for a while. We are the oldest nonprofit doing this in the country. This will be our 56th
Is
year.
That right?
Yes.
How do you work it now? You work with the person who's in debt, and you work with the person who wants the money. How do you work in between?
What we try to do is have that certified counselor walk through a person. What is their budget? What is the amount that they need for their core expenses, be they rent or house payment or car note or the rest, and anything else. After we reduce that as much as we can in cooperation with them, they have an action plan to help them get out of credit debt.
But you gotta get started though.
take the first step. Give yourself that gift.
That letter carrier drops the bill in the mailbox, and you just cannot ignore it, right?
I think the phrase is bills, plural.
The bills, yeah.
Plural.
Yeah, they all come at the same time.
Yes, they do.
What's your piece of advice now? You have anything that you can that we should take home with us right now as we're here in mid-December, looking at Christmas coming up and holiday spending?
The best thing I can suggest is what we suggested at the top of the segment. That is, when you do your holiday spending or even afterward, have a plan with your money no matter what your situation is. It's not a straitjacket. You're not strapped with it. It just means that you're not willy-nilly and pushed all over the place. Have a plan.
You've got a little brochure. We can try to get a shot of this. This brochure is available, I'm certain, where people can get more information if you just hold that shot. And if you go inside, there's all kinds of information on things you can do to get out of debt and stay out of debt. How do people pick up this little brochure?
They can. The 800 number is the best way to do that, and that's at 1-800-355-2227 number.
And you guys are going national now. I mean, you're doing this all over the country, trying to help people stay out of debt.
As the oldest, we think we have a model that's helped a lot of people, and we'd like to help more.
Okay. I pulled out my credit card just as a prop here. I'll not show the number, of course, and all of that important information, but I pull out this credit card. This thing can get me in trouble if I am not careful, right?
It can be convenient. It can be helpful. It can help you pay for things that you don't have the cash for right now. You don't understand how it works. Yes, it can be a problem.
The best thing I should do is put this thing back in my pocket.
Use it, but try to pay it off every month.
It's back in my pocket. No purchases to be made today, unless I really, really need them. Thank you, Jay Seaton. Always good to have you with us. Jay Seaton is Vice President for National Affairs for Consumer Credit Counseling Service, a prize in financial advocates. You can get them at 800-355-2227, or you can go to Aprisen, that's APPRISEN.com. More information on everything we've been talking about.
Thanks for having me.
You've put the money back in our pockets, or it belongs.
This is good.
Thank you, Jay Seaton. Good to have you on the broadcast. Log on to Newsnet5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Up next, the long-term impact of childhood obesity. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. Obesity and bariatric medicine are two of the areas of specialty for Dr. Karen Cooper of the Cleveland Clinic. She'll share with us some of the reasons we've seen an increase in obesity over the past 30 years among adults and certainly among children as well, and the health issues associated with obesity. Dr. Karen Cooper, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine at Cleveland Clinic. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. We are getting bigger in this country, aren't we?
Yes,
yeah?
Unfortunately.
What's causing this obesity problem?
Yeah. Well, you know, it is a collection of problems. It is genetic, it's environmental, it's psychological. You know, technology's advanced so much, and with the advancement of technology, which helps us do so much, we're not moving as much. You know, things are more convenient, more efficient, and our portion sizes are also larger. You know, we have access to food in ways that we didn't have 20 or 30 years ago. Yeah. We've not had a famine in about 100 years. Yeah. And so when you put all those factors together, unfortunately, we are getting larger. What's really bad about getting larger is not just in terms of how one might look. That's a very small part of it, but it's really your health issues. Mm-hmm. The excess weight is making such a demand on your body and your organ systems, and making people become more susceptible to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, diseases we never saw in kids before we're now seeing. It's very concerning.
Mm-hmm. What do we do? What is your suggestion? I know you deal with this on a daily basis, mostly with adults, yes. but you see the children coming up are getting bigger. Where do we start to tackle this problem? What can one individual do?
Yeah, well, we absolutely have to start in schools. One individual can set a great example. So if you're an adult, a great example for your child or for someone else's child or a child that's looking up to you is making sure that you're choosing the right foods and that you're exercising very regularly. In terms of, you know, the nation and our state, really, if we could just start at the levels that impact the most, which would be the children in school, I think that we could really get some headway for the next 10, 15 years and more.
First Lady Michelle Obama is on a campaign. She's pushing
Absolutely.
a campaign about obesity among children in school and getting those fatty foods out of the school and those vending machines that sell soda pops and all of that kind of thing out of the schools.
Yes.
You agree with this kind of this approach, certainly.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that she has started that Let's Move campaign. It is definitely making us more aware of what we need to do with our children in school. Now, while changing some of the foods around is going to have an impact, we still need more. You know, recess is not the same as it used to be 10, 20 years ago, you know, and how many schools really have enough money, enough funds for the physical education activities that we used to have 10, 20 years ago. And that's really, really important. It's a combination of eating right, but it's also about moving, and we don't move enough anymore.
So we've got to start. We've got to exercise. We've got to do some more walking. We've got to get.
We have to.
We're just walking from here to the garage now.
Right.
And what about the fast foods in this country now?
Yeah. Well, you know, fast foods, they have a high amount. Quite a few of them. Although I know some of the fast food chains are really trying to change some of that. But there's still foods that have a high amount of fat and a high amount of calories. I think, you know, 15, 20 years ago, getting a burger or something was sort of like a treat. But now it's, you know, this is what is affordable, this is what's convenient. You know, our lives are so busy, it's really hard to put together something nutritious and sit down together at a table and eat it. And so the fast food restaurants have helped in terms of convenience, but they've probably also helped in terms of how large we're growing.
It would be even cheaper, wouldn't it, to go to the grocery store if we can and buy vegetables and all of the other things that go to a balanced diet, as opposed to going through that drive-through window handing out a $5 bill every time you need a meal.
Well, I wish I could say yes to that, but actually when you get to the grocery store and you try to get some of the healthier things, they end up being more expensive than that $5 bucket of whatever that chain is promoting at that time. So if you are at an economic disadvantage, it's going to be easier to get to that fast food place as opposed to going to the grocery store.
Somebody out there is dealing with this obesity problem right now. What is your suggestion for that person listening to your voice, looking at your image? What's your advice?
I would say definitely move more. Definitely pay attention to what you're eating. Really try to cut down the portion sizes. We really eat twice the amount that we eat double the amount that we need actually for our bodies. We've
kind of supersized ourselves in this country.
Exactly. We absolutely. And we don't work as hard in terms of labor like we used to way back when we had farms and things. So we really need to cut down on our portion sizes. And, you know, we need to increase our fiber. We need to increase our protein.
Let me give a telephone number where more information can be received from your office. 800-339-9829. Or you can go to my.clevelandclinic.org and you can find more information on everything we've been talking about. You deal with this on a daily basis as a doctor of osteopathic medicine at the Cleveland Clinic, right?
Yes, I do.
This saddens you to see what we are literally, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like we're eating ourselves into the grave.
Well, we absolutely are. Obesity is taking away about 15 years from someone's lifespan.
15 years?
15 years, yeah. So at the clinic, I work with surgeons who, unfortunately, right now, we're finding that's the most effective cure for people who are morbidly obese and supermorbidly obese.
The bariatric surgery.
Bariatric surgery, absolutely.
But there's an answer before that.
There can be an answer before that. It seems to be a harder answer. It seems to be an answer that requires so much more. Our healthcare reform bill, which is providing for preventive services, finally, you know, will help with some of the dietary costs that would be necessary as some of those first steps before you end up going to surgery.
Dr. Karen Cooper of Cleveland Clinic, you've given us a great deal to think about.
Thanks.
Words of wisdom have been brought to this desk. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Let me close out here. Let me close out. Dr. Karen Cooper is with Cleveland Clinic. Log on to newsf5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Up next, we'll have our guest share her triumph over adversities. I'm Leon Bibb. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. This woman you're going to meet described herself as a problem teenager, but today she is a professor at The Ohio State University and an accomplished singer as well. Dr. Elaine Richardson will share with us how she overcame her addiction to drugs, to a life of prostitution, and became a prospective Ohio State University professor and author and singer. And it is good to have you on the broadcast.
Thank
Elaine
you so
Richardson,
much.
PhD.
Yes.
Long way from...
Long way.
Yeah. Years ago, we need to give a little bit of your background. You've come a long way from the times you grew up in Cleveland, right?
Yes. I got involved in prostitution at a very early age. I was raped at the age of 13.
Yeah.
And I had very low self-esteem. And I felt that I could fit in. After that experience, I always felt that I could fit in with people who were not upwardly mobile in the right, morals.
Yeah. But you've come a long way. Now we should jump ahead. We're going to go back there, but jump ahead. What is it that you teach as a PhD professor at Ohio State University?
Yes, I'm in applied linguistics and literacy studies. I got into that field actually when I was an undergraduate at Cleveland State University. I had a lot of problems with learning how to write academic discourse. And I found out that one of the problems that the university professors didn't address, and even before then, as an elementary school and junior high and high school student, nobody really addressed the fact that I spoke Ebonics or black dialect or Jamaican Creole. My parents were Jamaican. I grew up, in the urban area.
Here in Cleveland.
Here in Cleveland. And that was not one of the things that was addressed. People just would say, don't talk like that, or don't come in here with that ghetto language. So
you deal with these issues right now.
I do. I became interested in them as an undergraduate student, and I began to gear all of my research to that area.
More than 25 years ago, when did you decide that you had to make a change in your life and do something and get back in school and get educated and all of that?
I reached the bottom. I reached the very bottom of my existence. I thought that I had to go to jail, actually, to get off the streets, to get drugs out of my system. I was over 9 months pregnant with my second child, and I was on a drug binge. And I went to a friend's house, and I said, I need to call the ambulance for myself. I thought my baby was dead inside of me, and I need to go to the hospital for them to get this baby out of me, and so I can go to jail, because that's the only way I felt that I could stop using drugs and get my life together.
During that time period, you began getting your life back on track, the track that it should be on.
Yes, I had previously tried to get my life together. I was involved with a program called Project Second Chance, and it was run by Dr. Andrew Edwards at Cleveland State University, and it was for women who have been sexually exploited or involved in sex trafficking or prostitution. And I got involved with it.
Right now, you've got an album going out. You got Dr. E Elevated.
Yes.
A little bit of information there about that. Dr. E Elevated. You're a singer. You're an author.
I am.
Yeah, and you found success and peace in your life.
Yes.
The peace that was always there. You just did not know how to access that peace.
Well, I didn't have any peace at that time.
But you found it.
I've developed peace.
What's your advice? Somebody out there there is troubled, living the life you used to live, looking right now.
Yes.
What do you tell them?
I would tell them that you are worth something, that your life has a value to it, no matter what happened to you, no matter how bad things may seem, that there is something that the good Lord placed inside of you to develop. Everybody has a talent, a gift, and potential.
Was there any one thing that began that inspirational thought process for you?
I had it when I was a child, but I always got distracted. I never felt beautiful. I never believed in myself. That you have to believe in yourself and understand that you are something special, that there's a spirituality to you that you have to develop, and you're worth something. And everybody has value.
And now they call you Dr. Elaine Richardson, Ph.D.,
Yes.
professor on the Ohio State University campus.
At the Ohio State University.
You've come a long way, haven't you, Elaine?
I have come a long way.
God plays a big piece in all of this.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't do it without.
Is
it's the center of my life. Yes, and I had to tap into that. I was desperate to get away from my life, and through the help of a lot of good people like Dr. Andrew Edwards and professors that I met at Cleveland State University, I was able to get on the right track.
Where can people find your CD with all your inspirational songs on there?
At my website, giveusfreerecords.com.
We've got that on the screen, giveusfreerecords.com.
Yes.
They can also call you at 216-236-3621.
Yes.
Get more information on everything we've been talking about.
Yes.
Life is good, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
A lot better than it was more than 25 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. It's such a beautiful thing to wake up every day and be doing something that you love to do. I love teaching. I love meeting new people. I love telling my story to inspire other people.
You've inspired us, and we love you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Elaine Richardson. Quite a story. Quite a story. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I'll take a break. I'll be right back with more. One of our partners on this broadcast is the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, and the Urban League's president and CEO here in the Urban League of Greater Cleveland is Marcia Maccabee. Good to see you, Marcia.
Good to be here, Leon. Thank you. As I'm sort of looking at where we are right now at this time of the year, at the end of the year, you know, it's always a great time for reflection.
Right.
And I'm really thinking about all that we've come through in 2010, and we've had a lot of support, we've had a lot of encouragement, we've made a lot of progress during this year. And so I just really want to say, first of all, to all of our supporters out there, how much we appreciate them, their vote of confidence in the Urban League, and we're really looking forward to great, great things in 2011. So we've had our Equal Opportunity Day luncheon this year, we've brought new programs in this year, and we just are very, very humble, thankful, and excited about what 2011 is going to bring.
There's still much work to be done, though.
Absolutely, every day.
And thank goodness that the Urban League has been there all those years, those 90-plus years. Urban League has been there.
Absolutely. And we know that with all the challenges that we're facing in society today, and particularly in the African-American community, that, as you said, there is much work to be done, and we're trying to do it every day.
How does it feel? You've had a lot of people. I know you've gone through some things over the last 2 years or so, financial considerations and all those kinds of things, but the people have supported you. Does that bolster your personal spirits as you go to your office every day?
It absolutely does. I would say that in the first year, I probably felt pretty alone. We had the staff, great staff, very committed and loyal, but from a leadership and governance perspective, not as much support. But over the last year, we have a transition board that's come together. We have a senior advisor that works with us, and many of our corporate sponsors and so forth have just hung in there with us, and so now I don't feel so alone.
What have you learned? I've got about 15 seconds. What have you learned from all of this?
That doesn't kill you will make you strong. That's what I learned.
I think we can all build on that, can't we?
Yes.
Those are words of wisdom. You can carve those in stone, Marcia. I think you've struck something. You remind us what we already know.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Marcia Maccabee. We appreciate your being with us. This is Kaleidoscope. Marcia Maccabee and I appreciate your riding along with us. I'm Leon Bill. Good luck and be well.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
If you suspect your teen is using a cell phone to connect to drugs, don't ignore the signs. Go to the partnership at drugfree.org.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm going to look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Here's a roll of 50-cent coins from 1964, the first to feature JFK, so lots of us collected them. They're not rare. The government minted over 200 million, so there's probably some in your house right now. But because they're made of 90% silver, they're worth more than their face value. So if you brought this $10 roll of coins into 650 Gold, we'd pay you $60 cash. 216-650-GOLD.
5 on your side, Consumer Report.